What is up, YouTube? This is DeFGandolf coming to you with another World of Tanks video. Today, I am here on Lakeville in my M46 Patton Tier 9 American medium tank. Now, this is one of the two American Tier 9 medium tanks, the other being the T-54E1, which is an autoloader. And I have to say, I really do like the Patton. Now, this tank has a very nice 105mm gun with a very good DPM, I have to say. And 212mm penetration is enough to get the job done in most situations, although occasionally you will find yourself in trouble against enemy heavy tanks. And already in this game on Lakeville, I have taken a hit going across the middle there. Now, unfortunately, that HP would have come in major handy later in this game, and this is the most damage I've ever done in a game coming up right here. This is going to be a really big game, but for now we need to push into the city. The cap is in the city. We've got a lot of guys in the valley, and the guys in the valley suck. I mean, they really do, honestly. But regardless. So what I'm planning on doing first is coming around to the middle so I can go straight up against the church building next to the cap. And from there I'm just going to try to hold the cap and do damage. Now, I have noticed that my reticule mod there, my reload indicator is flickering quite a bit. I guess that's just a replay bug. I'll try to find a solution to that, but for now, we're just going to roll with it. Let me try... No, that didn't fix it. Alright, so right now it's me versus a T-32. I have lost a lot of health from that hit I took earlier from that Waffenträger off Panzerwehr. And this RU-25, excuse me, what is that? A LTTB, rather, comes flying around over here, and I decided to give him a few shots. And our T-49 derps the crap out of the back of his tank there, finishing him off. And I just go back to the T-32. Now, I've got the T-32 right where I want him. He's going to be putting himself into a covered position where I'm going to be able to get the jump on him. And right here, I thought I could reload him, but unfortunately, it turns out we have about the same reload. But my turret absorbs his shot. Now, this is not the upgraded turret. This is actually just the turret from the Pershing. But there's not really a huge difference between this and the upgraded turret. And honestly, since you can fit the gun, the top gun on this tank, into the Pershing turret, I'm not sure if the top turret, the M46 Patton's turret, is actually that much better. But for now, I'm just sticking with this, and we'll see what happens when I unlock the top turret. Just noticed that's a little out of order. There we go. So now I've got the T-32 right where I want him. I've got the advantage. I can put shots into him without worrying about taking return fire, because I can just pull back so quickly. He'd have to get really lucky to put another shot into me. So at this point, I'm just sitting here waiting for him to pop back out again. I see that they've got a lot of enemy tanks slowly massing over here, but for now, I just need to get this T-32 out of the way as best as I can so I can get this flank taken care of, so I don't have to worry about it. Here comes again, and unfortunately, I roll 60 HP low and only do 330 damage. The average damage on this 105mm gun is 390, and I leave that guy on 30 HP, which is very unfortunate. Now, the Awful Panther here, he just stopped. I did not expect him to stop right there, and so my shot, which I led, just pinged off into the building there. And right now I'm looking at the map, and I see this Jagdtiger, and I'm like, ooh, he's about to come around the corner. That's not cool. I mean, I really don't feel like getting shot by a Jagdtiger today. It's a very nasty gun he has. And here he comes, tracking shot, yes, okay. So now all I have to do is just sit here and keep putting shots into it. That is exactly what you want to do in a situation like that when a non-turreted tank destroyer is coming around the corner. You just want to put a shot into their tracks and then just keep putting it through their front drive wheel and doing damage. And that's all I have to do here. Just sit here and keep shooting this guy until he dies. Now I guess that's where a lot of my damage this game comes from. Then the SU-101 comes around the corner, but I figured the Yag Tiger is a much more important target. And I donked that shot because my gun missed slightly to the right. T-49 shoots to try to save me, but unfortunately his shot does not roll good enough and leaves the SU-101 on very low HP. I try to get around him here, but for whatever reason my shot just misses. I don't play with the servo reticule on, so that's probably a fair amount of my problem there. And at this point it was just game over. I ended up doing just shy of 5k damage with 4,915 damage dealt to enemy tanks, but it's still a loss. It might have been the best loss I've had, needless to say, but it's still a loss. I ended up actually only getting about 860 XP out of this game, so it wasn't really that good of a match on that side of things. But it was still nice knowing that this was the highest damage game I've ever had in World of Tanks to date. And I think the Patton was just a very instrumental part of that. And I just think it's a very, very good tank. It's mobile, it has a good gun. The armor can be iffy, to say the least, but it can pull off the occasional miracle bounce. So, we're about to go into the second game here in just a moment. And the second game, thankfully, has a much better ending to it, although with a bit less damage. See you there. Alrighty guys, I am back in my M46 Patton once again. This time we are on Winter Himmelsdorf, and we have once again some very, very nice matchmaking. So, my plan off the start of this game is to just take a run up the hill. I'm going to be going up there with a Centurion 7-1. Me and him work fairly well together. Or him and I guess I should say. But I have to say, this guy did a very nice job with what he has to work with later on in the game here. But for now, we just need to get up the hill and try to establish superiority up there, so that we can establish superiority over the rest of the map. Now, the hill, I think, is a very critical position to hold, because it allows you to acquire map superiority. You can basically control the entirety of D-line and G-line, along with a few other shots that you can get across certain places on the map. But, I mean, it allows you to control two major lines on the Himmelsdorf map. So, we've got a fair number of tanks coming up the hill, and I really do like that when teams send a couple TDs over to the west side, just enough tanks to the tank alley on the 8 line to hold it, and then send everyone else up the hill, because I think map control is just so important, and the hill is a great way to establish that, in my opinion. So I'm just going to come over here to the left of the destroyed castle here, and see what kind of shots I can get down onto the enemies in the early game here. Just see what kind of opportunistic damage I can deal. And you see, I'm telling my team to just push quickly through the hill, because the only thing about this tactic is you really don't want to get bogged down up here. And I put a nice shot into the Object 704 there. That's a very, very critical target to hit. Very, very dangerous tier 9 enemy tank. And I back up just in time to make the Pershing shot go into the turret and not penetrate. And unfortunately, that shot misses. I also bounced a shot from a Tiger 2 there, which is nice that I didn't take that damage. And I still have full health. Now we're starting to see the enemies that have come up on the hill. They've only sent an IS-3 and an AMX 5100 that we've seen so far up here. And I've got a couple of IS-6s here backing me up, which is always nice to have support from teammates. That's one thing I had in this game that I just don't really feel like I had in the last game. The game before this, I felt like I was doing it mostly alone, and my team just crumbled around me. But in this game, I really do think I had a decent team. They all did some excellent work, and it was just a very fun match to play. At this point, this 5100 knows he's screwed. I collect the kill, but I did not deal him all that much damage in reality, only dealing him about 652 HP damage. So now comes the rush down the hill. I know their T-30 and their Tiger II have probably fallen back, so I know we're going to have at least those guys to deal with. And our T-50-41 is going to have an unfortunate run-in with their T-30 right there, losing half of his HP just with one shot. And then the rest of the tanks come around the corner and deal a lot more damage onto him, but he's still alive for the moment. So I come across, I try to put a shot into the lower plate of the E-75, but unfortunately my aim wasn't perfect, and also the shot flew high into his upper plate. But I just really wanted to keep moving across there. I did not want to take a hit, because I knew I would need that HP later on. So now I see the E-75 is distracted, and I tried to put a shot into his lower plate, but unfortunately, again, I aimed poorly, and the shot went into his tracks, which is not a horrible result. I did track the E-75, but it could have been a lot better. Now, Centurion 7-1 was holding on to that corner very, very well, and I knew that the Conqueror was going to be showing up soon, so I turned to engage him and keep him off my Centurion 7-1's back. Now, the Conqueror also has a 105mm gun, I do believe, and it's a very dangerous tank to play against sometimes. But right here, he's letting me dictate the pace of the combat here, which is a big mistake. You never want to let a medium tank, especially a mobile one such as the M46 Patton, dictate the pace of combat when you're in a heavy tank like that. Once I whittle him down to low enough HP, all I have to do is get around beside him and put the finishing shot in, although I did lose half my health in that engagement. Now I know our Centurion 7-1 there is good as dead, but I think I can get some free damage in on the E-75 this turn. Turns out I'm correct, so I get a good 413 unanswered damage into him. And now I have a choice. I can either fight the E-75, which I know I probably won't fare too well in, fight the Tiger II, which is what I was originally going to do, and I'm like, oh wait, I can just turn here and run away. Quote unquote, run away. But instead of running all the way back, even though I know there's quite a few enemy tanks approaching our base, we've got a KV-5 defending our base. KV-5 strong Russian heavy tank. KV-5 can take on an entire American army. So, I'm not too worried about the base at this moment in time. I'm mainly worried about the E-75 and the Tiger II. Although we do have a Sturr Mill and an SU-100 that have managed to push up. And all I had to do there was back up. The E-75 was very, very stupid and tried to fire on the move, missed, and then it was very simple to kill him. All I had to do was just drive back beside him and put a 105mm shell through his side. Very, very easy. And at this point, our KV-5 is held on just as I thought he would. He's on extremely low HP. He's a one-shot for the enemy Pershing, but Pershing, I know from experience, I played that tank for a long time, does not have the best of gun penetration. So the KV-5 collects the kill, and now I'm after the M41 Walker Bulldog for the final kill of the game. Now, I've already dealt 4,090 damage this match, which is a very respectable game for me in the M46 Patton. And this is my first Tier 9 tank, so I haven't really played any of the others. But I do have to say, I think this is probably one of the better tanks, one of the better medium tanks in Tier 9. All I have to do there is just be sure I carefully line up my shot on that weaving Walker Bulldog there, put it into his back, and win the game for 4,211 damage. Now, this was a very nice match. I actually achieved my mark of excellence as a result of this match, which rather surprised me. I did not think I would already get the first mark of excellence on this tank, but I guess that's a good sign. I've been averaging about 3k damage, I'd say, over the past few days, now that I've finally gotten used to the M46 Patton. I have to say, it is a very fun tank to play. So if you enjoyed this video, please do head over to my channel and subscribe, and don't be afraid to leave a like or a comment if you have any questions or comments about the video or any of the other things on my channel. And yeah, this is DeFGandolf signing off. Later, guys.